All right, today we're tackling a material that, well, it literally lubricates the entire global economy. We're talking about black gold, crude oil, the stuff that has powered our modern world, built entire empires, and, yeah, sparked a whole lot of conflict for more than a century. So here's the big question we're wrestling with. Is oil the undisputed S-tier champion that made everything possible, from cars and planes to the plastic in your phone? Or is it a dying giant, a titan from a past era whose massive flaws are finally catching up to it? To get a sense of the stakes here, just look at this number. In 2026, the world is using around 101 million barrels of oil every single day. That scale is it's almost impossible to wrap your head around. And it shows you just how deep our dependency still runs. And that really brings us to the core of this whole thing, what we're calling the black gold paradox. You see, oil is a material of incredible contradictions. It gave us freedom, mobility, and unbelievable prosperity. But now it also poses one of the biggest threats to the future of our planet. So, what exactly is this stuff? Well, at its most basic, crude oil, or petroleum, is this gooey black liquid made of hydrocarbons. Think of it as the super concentrated, fossilized remains of ancient sea creatures. And through refining, this raw gunk gets transformed into, well, everything. The gasoline for our cars, the jet fuel for planes, the plastics in our homes, you name it. But how did it go from being this weird, niche material that ancient people used for waterproofing to the absolute cornerstone of the global economy? I mean, its rise to power was nothing short of astonishing. You know, for thousands of years, oil was just the stuff that oozed out of the ground. That all changed in 1859 with the first commercial oil well. At first, it was all about finding kerosene for lamps, but then the automobile came along. And suddenly, gasoline, which used to be a useless byproduct, became the most valuable liquid on Earth. From there, the 20th century was basically defined by oil. It fueled world wars, created immense geopolitical power with the formation of OPEC, and, as we saw in the 70s, it showed the world it could bring everything to a grinding halt. Okay, but why? Why did oil win out over everything else? What is it about this liquid's fundamental properties that made it so incredibly dominant? It's not just about history, it's about chemistry. This slide right here, this is oil's superpower. It's all about energy density. 1 single kilogram of oil packs almost twice the punch of coal and, get this, about 45 times the energy of our best batteries today. This is what makes it the ultimate portable fuel. It's the reason we can fly a 400-ton jumbo jet across an ocean, something that's completely impossible with batteries alone. The batteries needed would literally weigh more than the plane itself. And oil's other ace in the hole is its sheer versatility. See, a barrel of crude isn't just one thing. When you refine it, it separates into this incredible range of products. Almost half becomes gasoline, sure, but the rest gives us diesel for our trucks, jet fuel for our planes, and, this is huge, the chemical building blocks for basically all plastics. It's like an entire supply chain in a single barrel. Okay, so let's fast forward to right now. Let's take a quick look at just how deeply this stuff is woven into the fabric of our modern world. This chart really says it all. The story of oil is still overwhelmingly the story of things that move. A massive 60% of it is burned to power cars, trucks, ships, and planes. Petrochemicals, for things like plastics and fertilizers, are a distant second, but they're growing. And you know, this focus on transportation is oil's greatest strength, and maybe, just maybe, its greatest weakness. All that demand adds up to some truly mind-boggling economic power. The oil market is worth about $3.5 trillion a year. To put that in perspective, that's bigger than the entire economy of the United Kingdom. It is by far the biggest and most influential commodity on the planet, period. Okay, but for all its power, for all its utility, oil's throne is starting to show some really serious cracks. We just can't talk about its strengths without being brutally honest about the immense costs. This quote from our source material really just captures the conflict perfectly, doesn't it? For every incredible benefit oil has given us, there's a dark, messy, and often tragic consequence. And the list of charges against oil, well, it's long and it's severe. Environmentally, it's on the hook for about a third of all global CO2 emissions, not to mention catastrophic spills that just wreck ecosystems. Geopolitically, its wild price swings send shockwaves through the global economy, and it's been a major driver of conflict for decades. And maybe most importantly, unlike the sun or the wind, it's finite. There's only so much of this stuff in the ground.
So, it is time for the final verdict. We've seen the power, and we've seen the poison. Now we have to weigh its civilization-defining strengths against its potentially civilization-ending flaws to give oil its final ranking.
Taking a look at our 6 criteria, you can just see how dominant oil is. A near-perfect 9.5 for both historical impact and versatility. I mean, it literally shaped the entire 20th century, and you can turn it into almost anything. It also scores super high on its properties and how easy it is to use. But notice that lower score on lasting relevance. That's a big nod to the energy transition that's happening as we speak. And when you average all that out, we land on our final grade. Oil is a high A-tier material, an absolute titan for sure, but not quite perfect.
So why not S-tier? That's the big question. Well, its elite status is undeniable. That energy density and versatility are just unmatched. On that scale, nothing else comes close. But its crippling environmental impact, the simple fact that it will eventually run out, and the undeniable rise of renewables mean it just can't claim that perfect, timeless S-tier spot with materials like steel or concrete.
Ultimately, this is the story of oil. It was the undisputed fuel of the past, and for now, the present. It absolutely gave us the modern world we live in. But while it's not going away tomorrow, its reign as the one and only king is coming to an end. And that leaves us with one final critical question to chew on. You know, we're getting pretty good at replacing oil for things like electricity and even cars. But what about everything else? What part of our world, whether it's plastics or air travel or global shipping, is going to be the absolute hardest to wean off of this incredible high A-tier material?